All right, looks like we're live. Let me bring up my screen and we'll.
I see your screen.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Don Ficken. I'm with the Library Task Force program, and I've got one of my colleagues, Tom Lynch, here. He runs the Facebook, and I work on the monthly meetings and the website. We're happy to bring you another excellent program. This one's called Get Ready for the October 21st International Observe the Moon Night. I tell you what, we've been talking about this. The moon is sometimes a lost partner. The sun is cool, but the moon's pretty darn cool too. So we're going to talk about tonight how you can observe the moon in October, and it'll be pretty close to the annular eclipse coming up. And so we'll get ready for that. So if you're not familiar with the Library Telescope program, it's been around since 2008. You can basically go to a public library, those that are participating. There's over 900 locations we know of now in over, I think, 6+ countries. And you can check out a telescope or a set of binoculars, or sometimes both, just like a book. And that's really terrific. So you get it for 1, 2, or 3 weeks, depends upon the library. And we've been working as a task force for some time. Our goal is very simple. We want to grow the program, and we're trying to share best practices. We have astronomy clubs and librarians all over the place that are getting together each month, and we talk about how things are working, how to improve things, and so forth. We have a Facebook page, which Tom Lynch runs, and he's on with us tonight. He'll help us with the questioning and things like that. We have all kinds of active postings about programming of the Library Telescope astronomy, and Tom's done a terrific job. He's got like 5,000 plus followers. So we have a nice, good chat going all the time. We've also been working pretty doggone hard on our website. We have a website that has a world map, and literally you can go to Canada or the US or Europe, and you can click on wherever you live, a state, province, whatever, and or country, and you can click on that, and you can drill down to your particular, let's say, a state or province, and it'll list the programs that we know about that. And we're adding more and more all the time as people learn about that. There's also resources for patrons. In other words, if you want to know how to get started with the Library Telescope, how to navigate the night sky, or if you are a library and you want to start it, we've got resources to help you get started. So this has been something we've been working on for a few years now, and we're very excited about that. On that same website that we talked about, and I believe that Tom also posts this out there on the webpage, you can get some very cool navigation maps. In other words, you can learn how to use the Library Telescope usually pretty quickly, but where in the heck are you going to look in the sky to find something? So this will give you, there's some maps on there that one of our members who's with the Astronomical League prepares for us. He does this in English and Spanish, and he also throws in usually a few other cool maps, a special event that you can get a good map of. And I encourage you just go to the front page of the website, and you can go down the bottom and you'll see those cool maps. And I believe that, again, that Tom Lynch posts that to our Facebook page. So tonight, well, last month we did a program called the Solar System Activities for the Library Telescope Night. So when you get out there and you're trying to figure out, well, the libraries, telescopes are cool, but what else can I do? We covered things like the pocket solar system and some very cool stuff. And of course, tonight we have learning about the International Observe the Moon Night. I'm very excited to be involved in this program. And then next month we have a unique thing coming up. We have actually 2 solar eclipses coming up in North America, one in 2023 and one in 2024. No, they're not that rare. I mean, they actually happen all the time. They just don't happen to be where you live. And so these are really rare opportunities for libraries to be in the path. And we want to make sure that you're ready for it. We do not want you to use your telescope for this. We don't want you to modify your telescope binoculars to view the eclipse. We got a lot of great activities, and there's even some opportunities to get some free solar glasses through the StarNet program. And we do record this program tonight, and we'll post that out into our YouTube channel. It's under librarytelescope.org. If you check the website, go up to the YouTube link and just click on that, and it'll take you to a whole library of stuff. All these that you see in 2023, we have webinars from 2022 and also from 2021. We cover all kinds of stuff, everything about how to operate, how to modify, how to use the telescope. And I think you'll find probably some great resources. It depends on obviously what you're looking for. So with tonight's program, Grace, is that Bodwin? Is that right? Did I get that right? Oh, cool. Very good. So from the Lunar and Planetary Institute in Houston, Texas, we've become friends over the last year or so, and she's been helping us out. She's a great supporter of the Library Telescope program. So she's going to give us some overviews of the International Observe the Moon Night and get how to get ready for it. We will take questions. You can post those questions on Facebook. Just put them in the comments area. And if you're on Zoom, you can put them on Zoom. And we're going to hold the questions to the end, but I'm sure we'll have a little bit of time to do that. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing. And Grace, if you can get us started, that would be really awesome. Thanks.
Thanks. All right, you see my title slide?
Nope, I'm not seeing slides yet. There you go, coming up. There, looks good.
Okay, great. And yeah, sorry if I have a little bit of lagginess or anything.
That's okay.
All right, so hi everyone. Thank you to the Library Telescope for having me. We're really excited to partner with Library Telescope. They are a supporter of International Observe the Moon Night. I am the National Partnerships Coordinator for that program. It's a NASA event program, and my other team members are listed here. We're not a very big team, but this is a really big program, and we're just trying to get it to grow more and more and more. And the impetus behind this program is really just to get people in local communities from around the world to observe and appreciate the moon. And that has a really open for interpretation kind of concept. So there's lots of different ways you can get involved. And if you, your group, your family have been looking for a reason to, implement a science program, implement an observing program, this annual event could be a great way to jump in and get started. And the moon is a great stepping stone for then observing more things in the night sky or in, planetary science, space science. Okay, so first off, this program is all about appreciating our moon. So we'll just take a second and think about the last time that we as individuals paused and appreciated the moon, and think about what that felt like. So I'm gonna stop for like 30 seconds and just think about this on your own. So hopefully it hasn't been too long since you have stopped and appreciated the moon. If it's been a while, I really encourage you to do so. And take a second to just see it. It's beautiful, or learn something about it. There's amazing science going on, and there's really interesting new programs happening like NASA's Artemis program. So now is an extra exciting time to get yourself and your communities involved in learning more about the moon. So what is International Observe the Moon Night? So this is really kind of the meat of the program. It's an annual event that has been occurring every year since 2009. It always happens in September or October. It is always scheduled on a Saturday during a first quarter moon phase. The first quarter phase is picked because it's a great phase for observing the moon. It's also when the moon is up in the late afternoon and early evening, so you don't have to be out late at night or up early in the morning to see it. The moon is about halfway lit, and so you have a nice, here we go. Apologies. Okay, here we go. So the moon is about halfway lit. The terminator casts nice shadows so you can see topography and features on the surface of the moon. And in addition to picking a specific date, which helps us as a team to share resources and promote the event, we understand that not every program can happen on the same day. So really it's a 2-week period over which you can register as an individual observer, as a group, or as an event that other people could attend. And I'll talk more about that. But you have a 2-week window over which you can participate in this program. It's very, very easy to participate. And so we encourage anyone to sign up. This year, the scheduled date is October 21st, 2023. So that's a Saturday. Like I said, week before and week after are included. So just really briefly, the goals of International Observe the Moon Night. So the goals of this program are to unite people across the globe in a celebration of lunar science, lunar observation, and exploration. And we try to accomplish this goal by providing information, providing a platform through which people can connect, and providing resources. And all of this is to raise awareness, empower local communities, facilitate the sharing of stories and inspirational artwork and science and more, and to support all people in learning and connecting with the moon. So a couple of main focuses of the program. We want to start close to home. There are amazing things to learn all about space, solar system, observing science, all kinds of things, but having something that's tangible and easily observable is a great way to get audiences started. So observing the moon is a shared human experience that can act as a stepping stone toward future experiences or toward learning and developing as an observer. We also focus a lot on community. So we do this by engaging with global and national partners and participants, and by trying to empower local communities to lead. So NASA does not organize events around the country. Instead, NASA picks a day, they provide resources, they provide the registration platform, the event platform, but then it's really up to communities to decide that they want to host an event or they want to encourage local observers. And another thing we've been working really hard to do is remove and reduce barriers to entry. So we have flexible registration options. We have a searchable event database. I'll talk a little more about that. We have curated a lot of diverse resources and activities so that, if you are hosting an event or you're an individual observer, you can find something that fits for you. And every year we gather feedback from participants and we implement it. We really want to know how we can improve. So again, I encourage you to participate and to provide feedback. Okay, so what does this program really look like? If you've never participated in an International Observe the Moon Night event, that's okay. They're really diverse. It depends on what event you attend, how you organize your own event, if you participate as an individual or you go to something that is in person or online. Basically, anything that has to do with the moon in some way qualifies as an event as part of International Observe the Moon Night. So we've got some pictures here about from previous programs, groups that have participated. So in Indonesia, this was a virtual press conference and science information night that they organized and held for their communities. You can see there were live observing events in Mozambique and Argentina and Senegal. There was a children's art event in Honduras. So there's lots and lots of different ways that you could organize for whatever group a program to participate in International Observe the Moon Night. So event registration is not yet open for 2023. It'll open over the summer, and some updates can be shared about that when that happens. But just so you can picture it from last year, this is what one of the registration pages looks like. And basically, you decide what day within the window your event is going to be on. So maybe you want to host, if you're a library, you want to host an event on a Wednesday evening within the window of time around International Observe the Moon Night. So you would just pick a time. You would say where your event is being hosted. Is it open to the public or is it private? And then all of that data becomes integrated into our event system, and people can search for events in their area that they could attend. So private events are shown, but there's no address, there's no contact information. And so people won't show up to a private event. But public events, you can put info on there, you can add links about your library or your flyer, and folks in your community can go onto the map and search for events that are around them or that are virtual that they want to attend. So this is what the events, once the registration is live and people have begun to put in their events, if you're a participant and you want to see what events are happening around you so you could participate, this is what it would look like. So you would find an event in your area by browsing. And you could also find resources, event materials, and other ways to engage. So I'll show a little bit more about the website in just a second. But basically, we create this platform, and then it is up to community organizers to put together an event. And that can take a lot of different forms. So just a quick review of kind of the scale of this program. These are the numbers from last year, 2022. There were more than 4,000 registered events and observers in all 50 states and in over 100 countries across all 7 continents. So we had researchers down in Antarctica who registered for the program, though. So we got Antarctica, so that's pretty good. And then based on registration data from folks who hosted events, after they host their event, they say, we hosted an event for 100 people. So then we tabulate all of the estimated participants from all of these different events. And last year, we think we had about 1 million participants worldwide. So it's a really big program. It's something you can be a part of that's very big and exciting, but very adaptable and very scalable. So this info sheet, this recap of last year is available on the website if you want to look at it in a little more detail. Okay, so some of the resources that we provide, let's say you decide you want to host an event for your community or a private event for your family. The resources are available on the website, and there will be some additional ones coming this year, but most of these resources are evergreen, meaning you can use them again and again. You can use them throughout the year. So we have moon maps. These will come out and be updated for International Observe the Moon Night each year. So right now on the website, the moon map is from last year, but there will be one coming out for 2023 that will show exactly how the moon should appear in the evening sky on the night of October 21st. And it'll have highlighted features on the moon that you could point out to observers if you're using a telescope or binoculars. We have a lot of different activities for different age groups, different materials. We have viewing guides, photography guides, event flyers that you can alter to put in information about your own events. We have graphics, postcards, lots of other multimedia resources and promotional resources, things like press announcements, templates that you can use. So that's all on the website, and it's easy to find under the resources and multimedia. So some of the ways that you could think about how individuals engage in this program, some of their different ways that folks can get involved in International Observe the Moon Night as individuals is we count things like, did you look up at the moon with your own eyes? You participated. Did you look through a telescope or binoculars? That's even better. That's a participation. Did you participate in an online event or watch a live stream of a telescope view of the moon? Did you create lunar artwork or write a story or music? Maybe you watched a science presentation. And maybe you attended an organized public event. So that's where our event hosts come in. So a library, a museum, a school maybe hosts a public event and people from the community come to join. So here are a couple ways showing how individuals might participate. So something just like looking at the moon, the first picture. Maybe you look at some of the amazing data and imagery coming out of NASA. These are postcards. The third image are postcards and 3D prints. So you could use this with visually impaired audiences or with kids and talk about craters and different features on the moon and use more than just observing with your eyes. And then the third picture is making cratering artwork. So using paintballs and just paper to make artwork and study cratering processes on the moon. So if a participant is attending an event, then they might have certain goals, and you could think about how you achieve these if you're an event organizer. So some of the goals for participants might be to gain new knowledge, to gain awareness of your group or your facility, to gain awareness of what's going on in lunar science and exploration, to have a new experience, to look at the moon or observe it in some other way, and to have fun and meet people in the community. And these groups, International Observe the Moon Night is a great way to help people meet these goals. You can be educational, you can be interactive, you can do community building. So here are just a couple more shots of things that we offer or we've done before. So this is a poster, easy to download and print. It's available online. We've got stuff like moon bingo, cratering activities, moon journaling, all kinds of different stuff that we can help guide you to if you're an event organizer or participant. So goals for event organizers. If you're thinking about doing something for your program, you could think about, maybe you want to attract new visitors or increase the scientific literacy of the population you're serving. Maybe you want to raise awareness of your group or of lunar science and exploration. Maybe you want to use this as an opportunity to collaborate with local partners or national and international partners. And hopefully you want to have fun and meet and engage with others. So a couple other pictures, just to keep giving you ideas of what some of these programs could look like. This is just some examples of what event organizers have done all around the world in previous programs. We can see we've got telescope viewing. This was a science tour down at the bottom right. More art programs in Honduras. There's lunar viewing certificates that you can download for participants. And this is also an opportunity to collaborate in your community. So with previous events, hosts have said that they've collaborated with public parks, astronomy clubs, community centers, schools, planetariums and observatories, libraries, youth organizations, like the Boys and Girls Club, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, private businesses, or NASA centers. So the last reason, I think, coming back to the real goal of International Observe the Moon Night, it's a great place to start if you are looking for more programs or more ways to get engaged in the future. International Observe the Moon Night is a great way to get people involved, to get people looking up and appreciating the night sky, learning about science and exciting discoveries that are happening every day. And you can build all of these activities and resources that we have, you can build them into programs in the future. You can use them year round, but it can be nice to be a part of an annual event, part of something bigger. And there's lots of ways to connect with us through social media. You can sign up for our newsletter. I'm going to show you the webpage just real quick. But lastly, I'll just say you can also plan ahead. So the dates are set for the next 2 years. So like I said, this year, October 21st is the date of International Observe the Moon Night. And then for 2024 and 2025, those dates are set as well. So you can already start thinking about, if you want to put together a program, how you could scale it, what you want to build, what you want to incorporate over the coming years, and how you want to participate in this program long term. So we'd be really excited to have your involvement. And if there are any questions, I will be happy to answer them. The last thing I will do, actually, just real quick, I'll stop the screen share of the PowerPoint. And instead, I will switch over and just quickly, so looks like it's loading. All right, so hopefully you're seeing the homepage of International Observe the Moon Night. And
yes,
it has not, okay, good. It has not been updated for 2023 just yet. So registration is not open. It will open over the summer for October. But so many of the resources and activities and things I mentioned, they're really easy to find. So if you just go to the top right, you can learn more about our team. You can check out frequently asked questions, learn more about past events. If you're interested in hosting, we have guides. What are the basics? What are event materials you might want? We have examples of sample events so that you could see, different scales, different kinds of events. And we have ways to find partners. If you want to collaborate with an astronomy club or, a library, you can check out some of the resources here and find places where folks will collaborate. And then if you are an individual observer or you want to share information about how folks in your community could observe without coming to an event, check out Participate. So there's ways to observe at home, connect online. There are participation certificates. There will be challenges, observing challenges later to come. And there's also live streams of the moon on that night in case you get clouded out or something. So you could put up a screen and have a live stream. And then lastly, here under the resources. So this is super helpful. We have lots of activities that you can check out, multimedia. This is where the moon map will be when it gets updated, viewing guides, and more. So I will stop here. And thank you all very much for your attention, and happy to take any questions.
Well, thank you. So if you've got some questions, I don't see any questions quite out there yet, but if you have some, either post them in our Zoom Q&A area or on the Facebook Live in the comments area. So Grace, what struck me as I listened to what you talked about is that, a lot of libraries, they close pretty early. So they're saying, oh, the moon's up at night, whatever, I can't really stay open that late, depends upon what's really going on. But the truth is the moon is up pretty early. That's a first quarter moon. So it's actually up before the sun even sets, right? So you can actually have a fairly early program. But what I also liked is I was going through and you've got art, music, games, sound. I mean, you can have an entire daytime, like a noon type of program, really just during the day, and have a lot of fun with that. And then the children can go home at night and experience the moon directly themselves, right? So you've got a lot of options really at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the name of the program is International Observe the Moon Night. And as a team, we have talked about, oh darn, observe really makes us think about going out and looking at the moon using a telescope, being out at night. But we've tried to make it very clear that observe should be interpreted really broadly. Observe maybe should be replaced with appreciate. So if you are a library or some other organization and you set up a, moon table, a moon corner in your facility for kids, for adults, with activities, with games, with books, with posters, that is appreciating the moon. That's helping folks learn about it, think about it. That's participation in International Observe the Moon Night. Register that, put that online. We want to know you're doing that. And we have resources that could help you, bring more things to whatever community it is you're serving. So yeah, observing, totally. We think about going out and looking at the moon, and I encourage everybody to do that, but it is not limited to actually seeing the moon in the sky on a cloudy day, or, when the moon isn't up, you can still be a part of this program.
Yeah, it's really sort of like taking a map out and planning your vacation. So when you actually go out, so in this case, if you look at the moon and figure out where everything is, when you go out, instead of looking at the map, trying to figure out what you want to look at, you get to go actually look at it, right? That's the part. So it's really a little bit of planning really up front. Is that right?
Yeah, it's some planning up front, and it's also just helping to remind people that it's up there and think about, there's all kinds of activities that are related to, learning about the history of lunar observation, learning about cultures and myths that are associated with the moon, creating your own moon-inspired artwork or poetry. So there's lots of different ways to plan ahead and to think about appreciating the moon, whether that means seeing it or not. And part of wanting to be more accessible is we understand that not everyone can visually observe the moon, but there's lots of other ways to appreciate it and be involved with acknowledging it, but also with learning about the science and the really cool stuff that's happening. So yeah.
Right. So one of the things that I've discovered over the years here is that, I know that the moon is tidally locked with us. In other words, you see the same side all the time. Mm-hmm. So there's sort of a presumption that, okay, you've seen it one time, it's done. But it's actually changing all the time because you have that shadow, that terminator, mm-hmm. which it highlights different features. There's a lunar X. There's all these cool craters that'll pop up and go away. And there's the first quarter and the third quarter. So there's different ways to look at this. A lot of people, I think that, looking at a full moon is the best thing, and it is cool, right? But there's also these craters and these shadowing that's really very cool. At least that's one thing. I really kind of like the moon. The truth is, it's so easy to see, and you can do it with just binoculars or eyes or whatever else.
Yeah, the having shadows on the moon, like during the first quarter phase, makes it look so much more dynamic. We are used to the iconic full moon, but if you're really looking at it and you can see the shadows through the craters and everything, you get a much better sense of the depth of the moon. So yeah, I think it's a great time to get out and observe. And of course, it's up so much earlier in the day, so that helps.
Right. And there's actually, it doesn't take much research, but you can look at, you can find there's a pattern on the moon that's like an old lady on the moon or rabbit's ears or whatever else. And once you figure out how to understand where those things are on the moon, then you can start looking for where Apollo landed, and you can start pinpointing. When I look at the rabbit's ears, I now realize that one rabbit ear, the first Apollo mission landed, and on the other rabbit ear, the other Apollo, and you say, wow, that is so cool. And then it's like you can't unforget it. I mean, you can't unforget it once you realize that you can see that. And it's like, wow, that's really very cool.
Yeah. Well, and there's one other thing I meant to point out, but I didn't have a slide for it, so I forgot. So quick go back, but I'll just add, like Don mentioned at the beginning, of course, there are eclipses that are coming up, passing through parts of North America. So in October of 2023, there is the annular eclipse that is passing through North America. If you're on that path and you're planning or you're wanting to do something for the eclipse, an educational program, a viewing program, the eclipse is within the window of time where you can register for an International Observe the Moon Night event.
That's cool.
And you could, if you're on the path, you're planning to do something to acknowledge the eclipse, you could combine those. And you could use our platform, International Observe the Moon Night, to register your eclipse event and help promote it in the community. People could find it and see it and come out to your facility. And of course, if you're doing anything involving the eclipse, you got to pay a little attention to the moon, acknowledge the moon a little bit. And one of the things we're going to provide, they're not live yet, but there will be resources specifically about, how to bring the moon into an eclipse-centered program, how to talk about the moon when you're really there to view this solar event. So there will be activities and, multimedia write-ups, things like that can help promote those things if you're fortunate enough to be along the path and you're getting to do an eclipse event. Bring the moon in, still put it under INOM, International Observe the Moon Night, and you can, cross off two events with one.
There you go. Well, some people might say that our sun is the closest star, and it is a star, and it is closest, right, for us. But the truth is, the moon's doing all the hard work here. It's doing all the blocking of the sun. It's doing all that. So it, in some ways, is a closest star for us, at least, right? So
it's kind of fun. It's the closest, it's a superstar. We love the moon.
There you go. Well, Grace, thank you very much for your time. And we will be posting. Grace has agreed to provide us some additional information as we get a little bit closer. And if you check out our website and our YouTube account, our Facebook page, we'll be posting this as we get closer. Don't forget, next month we have on May 17th, we're going to talk about the solar eclipses. Now, there's a 2023 and a 2024, October 14th, partial eclipse for the entire country. And on April 8th, there'll be a partial eclipse for the entire country. And the first one, October 14th, is actually an annular for part of it, meaning the moon's not quite covering the sun. It'll create what's called a ring of fire. And April 8th for part of the country is going to be what's called a total eclipse. That is pretty awesome. It'll be over 4 minutes. It'll be a really great event. And whether your library's in that area or not, it's still a great chance to celebrate the moon and the sun being blocked by the moon, right? So we will record this event. And I will post this the next day or so on our YouTube channel. And appreciate your time. And Tom, I know you've been back there watching the questions for us, and we appreciate that. So thanks a lot, Grace, and I appreciate you joining us once again this year. We'll hope to see you next year.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks, Tom.